So the first thing I do when I get up in the morning is, while I'm still in my gin jams, put my slippers on and go out and feed the birds. I can't possibly stand here at the kitchen window making my coffee and seeing the birds all staring in at me, a bit like from that film, The Birds. But in reality, of course, they've gotten used to me feeding them. And so this is a little place where they come for their breakfast, at the very least their breakfast. So, yeah, it's a beautiful day. And if you have a look over there, look at the beautiful dragon's breath, just easing its way along the bottom of Kilronan Mountain. So there's a beautiful pheasant. He's come up as well for his beautiful little stroll around Bealtaine, pecking away at his breakfast. So I've put oats out there and also birdseed. He's been here the whole winter. Snow on the mountains and a little scattering of snow around Bealtaine. I've been out just and topped up the bird feeders at the back, and it looks something between a hard frost and a light dusting of snow. Gosh, I've just sat down. Bealtaine Cottage time, it's 5 o'clock. Your time, it's 4 o'clock. So I've just put a soup on in the Instapot, as it's called. To my mind, it's an electric pressure cooker. Now, look at my ginormous jigsaw. This is it here. It's called Christmas Post. So I'm enjoying doing that. Actually, it's very relaxing doing a jigsaw, because what I do of an evening, I set my little laptop up on top of the little stereo over there, on top of those drawers. And I'm watching perhaps an episode, say for example, of Vera. I love Vera. I kind of rewatch and rewatch. So I know the plot, but it's just lovely to listen to it all. So I'm sat there doing my jigsaw and listening, and occasionally glancing at the screen. So I've lit the stove here in the sitting room. I'll go through to the kitchen in a moment. I've got a little candle burning there, and I have a lovely kind of a festive, what do I call it? Well, it's an ornament. It's a light. It's like a huge tin can, and it has this beautiful tree carved out on either side. Shh, quiet, Jack. Just heard a little sound outside. Been lots of wild animals coming around the cottage looking for food. So I've been putting lots of food out. In fact, I went over to the post office to post some calendars and books off. Thank you, by the way, for those of you who are supporting my little venture here, because it's my only income, this books. And some people support me on Patreon, but I don't ask for that. And I totally understand, people have very little money at the moment. So I understand if people drop out of Patreon. As I like to say, I have enough. I'm okay. I'm alright. I'll have enough. I put a vegetable soup on for my dinner because over the past few days I've been having vegetable soups and I've been finding them really, really fortifying. Might even have a chance to nip over to the tunnel and show you what's happening over there. Isn't he just a lovely boy? Oh yes. Now, get myself up. Yeah, because what's happened, I mean, I have put on a bit of weight over this lockdown. It has gone on for a year, you know, so give me a break here. And I do enjoy my cooking and my baking. But what I'm going to do, and it was just a practical measure, because I'm not going to go on a diet or anything like that, I'm just going to be really, really practical and think about my health, and soups and raw vegetables and dips. Just a fantastic way to go. You know, you can't go wrong. And just stay off the carbs, you know, keep it very simple. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So, take you through here to the kitchen. Now, did a massive amount of washing up there, look. I had a notion to wash up. So I got stuck in. Whilst the notion was with me, I got stuck in. And then I give the sink a really good clean. Look at that. Look at that for cleany bright. I love having a good old clean up. I've got to clean up my worktop now because I've got my soup on. It takes 25 minutes, as you can see. What did I put into the soup today? Okay, so I put in some garlic. I put in a big fat clove of garlic. And you don't have to chop it up too much because I blend it with a wee hand blender when it's finished, you see. I put in garlic, onion. I had half of a big sweet potato left. I put that in. I put in 3 small carrots. I put in 3 chunks of frozen spinach. Lots of stock, and 3 handfuls of red lentils. That's these fellas here, look, the red lentils. Now that would be a lovely soup to have for this evening. And then what I do is I put on the top of it, look at this, and an Engevita, the vegan food with cheesy nutty taste made from primary inactive yeast with B12, and it's high in protein and fibre. So that's, I put about maybe 3 soup spoons, you know, the soup spoons. Look, I've got lots of soup spoons in here because I've been washing up. So 3 of these, 3 soup spoons. So there we go. And, you know, it totally depends, really. Depends what I have in the fridge. I just look in the fridge. As long as I have onion and some stock, and I just use the stock powder or a stock cube. As long as I have onion, some stock, bit of garlic, and then just whatever I have. So it could be potatoes, carrots, could be some parsnips, some leeks, some celery, could be all of that. I always put red lentils in because I find the red lentils thickens the soup, and of course it's beautiful protein to have. So yeah, taking a wee drink of my tea because I made that about 20 minutes ago and it's starting to go cold. Last night I had some lovely dip. I made some hummus. You can see I've still got the tahini there on the side. I always try to use this salt here, Herbamare, and that's cumin there, which is brilliant in all kinds of stuff, but especially in hummus. I normally put about, say if I'm using a tin of chickpeas, I would put in about 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin. there we go. And I've had a banana today. I'm trying to eat lots of fruit as well. I've got some apples washed and ready to go for tonight. So if I feel hungry, I'll have some apple. Might have 1 or 2 apples. Okay, so I'm going to take you over to the tunnel now. Now, before we go to the tunnel, while I was at the post office, I bought more bird seed and more nuts, and I also got some fat balls. So, Declan and Fiona always have a laugh at me when I go over to the post office because they work in the shop, and I always spend more money on bird food or cat food or dog food than what I do on food for myself. But then being a vegan, come on in Jack, being a vegan is actually a very cheap way to live. Very cheap. And far more nutritious, I think, than the diet that I would have had, say, 3 decades ago. Now, we shall go over to the tunnel now. Again, before we go, I'll just show you the veranda here, because I've moved the big egg chair over to the tunnel, and I'm clearing up the veranda, giving it a good old clean up. There's things I have to paint, which I'm going to bring out here and paint. So I've made lots of room on my little veranda. It's very, very cold out here. Very cold. Oh, come on, Jack. But, as my daughter was exclaiming yesterday when she visited, she lives locally and we have a bubble, all the evergreen plants and shrubs and trees here in the garden add so much beautiful structure over the course of the winter. And, you know, she's right. It absolutely does. So it always looks lush out here, even in this, you know, deep midwinter that we're in now. Look at the frost down there. And the ice. The ice on there, look. Ooh, isn't that lovely? So, again, I've been collecting lots of wood with my little cart. Oh, come on then. He never knows which way I'm going. The paths are a little bit slippy. I'm waiting for 2 ton of gravel to be delivered from the garden centre because I'll be top dressing the driveway. I do that every couple of years or so. And then I also use some of the gravel to put along these paths, and it gets walked in, you know, very quickly, and allows the grass to come up, so there's no loss on the paths at all. You can see the frost. Of course, the sun is setting now, I think. Now, I was having a look up through the lunacy garden there, and the way the plants have grown in there. So I'm partially working on that, along with all the other jobs that I'm doing. You know how I work. I go hither and thither. That's the style of work I do. Hither and thither work. Here and there. And everywhere. This mahogany has come on wonderfully well, hasn't it? I only set that in there last year. So, here we go. This is the tunnel so far. So I brought the egg chair over and parked the other chair there just as a kind of a footstool. cleared up, I took all the dry wood out of here and put that over in the barn. I'm going to move that pile probably tomorrow. The castor oil plant hasn't done too well, and my daughter tells me it's because it needs to be in the shade. So I will be removing that, I think. I'm not tempted to remove it because it's actually growing well, but the leaves are all yellowing. Anyway, I'll be pondering on that one. Lots and lots of beautiful, beautiful foxgloves, which I'm so delighted about. I thought this was a foxglove here, but it's not. I think... Oh, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'll have to have a little thought on that. That could be the Chinese forget-me-not, which does look very much like the foxglove. But anyway, lots of foxgloves coming up here all the way along. There's a whole nest of them there, which is beautiful. So those I'm leaving. I still haven't, there's just a massive amount of work to do in here in order to get it up to the standard that I like to reach before spring comes in. But again, it's good work, it's enjoyable, it allows me to be outdoors yet sort of indoors. So I don't know if I've told you, but I've planted 23 trees in total down all the way through the woodland gardens. I've got more to plant, so I'm starting to feel really excited about spring. Isn't it just incredible how well this variegated holly has grown in this pot? I think it's amazing, the growth on it. Because again, I only put that in there last year, or it may have even been the beginning of this year. But it's absolutely beautiful. And the mahogany behind it. Do you know, I have a real love of mahonia. I'll show you the one up on the edge of the woodland. So this is the woodland edge, just over the ditch. I've got lots and lots of leaves in this ditch, which I've got to clear out, and that's going to make wonderful food. Look at this mahonia. Isn't this amazing? So I did the usual thing. I grew it on in a pot until it was almost pot bound, and then I released it by planting it here on the woodland edge, so it's getting some light there, and but it's also enjoying the shade as well. And look how it's grown. Isn't that beautiful? It's let me see the height of it. Stand beside it. Oh, it's head height now, so it's what, 5'5"? Isn't that wonderful? And I've noticed as well that the beech, and I think it's a purple beech, I'm not too sure. Or is it green beech? Behind the old hen house. That is really taking over now. It's beautiful. And my little hedge that I planted from cuttings, I just stuck the cuttings in. Isn't that beautiful? I just stuck the cuttings straight into the ground. This little box type hedge, it grows like a weed. It's incredible. So there's some of the willow that I've cut back. I've got heaps more to cut. But you get a beautiful view of the Irish oak from here, don't you? Isn't that a beautiful tree, the Irish oak? Definitely getting some more of those this year in the bare rooted section down at Ardcarn. I'll just take you up to the stone circle again, which is just looking so different now. In a beautiful, I don't know, the energy's changed here. There's more energy actually in the circle. Now, is it because I have cleared the willow? Or is it because I've planted an oak tree in the middle? I don't know. But it's become a wonderfully energized space. Now, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who've sent me presents. And I'm going to write your names out in lists so I can remember to read them out on my next video. So for today, on this beautiful evening, with clear skies, and you see a beautiful kind of a dusty baby pink there over Kilronan Mountain, I want to wish you all a beautiful evening. There's a little bit of a mist beginning to descend. And of course the clear skies mean it's going to be very cold. Very, very cold. So blessings to you all.